Welcome to this episode of Fast Casual Nation. We are in San Francisco, California, covering a concept that does barbecue, of all things in fast casual. It's a place called Hi Lo, and we're gonna show you what makes them tick right here on Fast Casual Nation. All right, so Scott, here we are at your concept, Hi Lo. First of all, thanks so much for letting us come in tonight and experience what you guys have to offer. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you guys do here.
Sure, well, I've been restaurant owner for over 7.5 years now. Maverick was my first restaurant. It's on 17th Street, just a couple blocks away. About 2.5 years ago, I opened Hog and Rocks, which is right across the street. And just beginning of February, we opened Hi Lo, which is a barbecue concept, and right across the street, so it makes management of 2 restaurants that I run pretty convenient.
Yeah.
The barbecue thing in San Francisco has been in the null void region for many years. All the barbecue restaurants are just kind of real hole in the walls and really aren't that good. And we're not, in California, isn't much of a barbecue state, or there's really just doesn't even exist that in a delicious state.
Yeah.
So figured it was my cue to kind of, no pun intended, just to get right in there and do it. It's something I've been talking about and thinking, and I wanted to do for a while, and it all just kind of lined up right.
Yeah.
For me,
So filling the void in this segment. When you look at what you guys are doing here at Hi Lo, of course, obviously you guys have risen the bar, but your service style that you're running is kind of unique. When we talked about it in the pre-show, I was impressed at the way that you guys model it through. Kind of walk us through what a guest experiences when they come into Hi Lo.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, starting with the food itself, I mean, all my restaurants and kind of the California way and the way I believe in is using the best quality products you can get.
Right.
And being that we're in San Francisco and in Northern California, an amazing selection of things to choose from. So we started there. And with that, I didn't want to compromise on that, and then you're going to apply that to the barbecue world, so then you got to buy the best meats and the best vegetables, and so it kind of rose us up into a higher category, maybe a little bit higher than most would consider for a barbecue. But the roots of barbecue is that casualness and ordering at the counter, so we really wanted to keep that.
It's really a good mix when you look at how fast casual has evolved, the whole concept of service, experience, great food. It seems like you guys have put that together. Now, one thing that you've added that is really unique in this space is you've brought in a full bar. So you've introduced something even more dynamic around this kind of restaurant, which of course gives you a lift on your checks.
Sure.
Your guests can kind of create a new experience across using full, like a full menu where they're getting access to liquor and the whole thing. What's your thoughts on liquor and how a full bar has intersected into this space? I mean, what are consumers saying?
Yeah, I mean, economically, historically, bars always are a good way to make money. It wasn't really looked at upon that. It was really about like what you're saying, like it's a full experience.
Yeah.
And I want to give everyone the whole thing, and then the drinks were composed and thought of in a way that was going to work with the food. Not so much like we want to do this really cool 6-spirit cocktail that makes, with this beautiful garnish coming out of it. It wasn't about that. It was about like how do the food and the drinks interact together, but still all balanced. Nothing really sweet,
And you guys do something that's a bit different. So you batch mix your cocktails, right?
Yeah. So this is about speed. This is when you're and that's the same thing we do across the street, and we've learned we don't want to make people wait 20 minutes just because it's great doesn't mean it should take 20 minutes.
Right, and consistency too.
Exactly, yeah, even more so.
Yeah, so you guys can nail consistency, you get speed down, great quality is infused in there. I mean, it's a really kind of a match. So what are you thinking with that? I mean, has the consumers really embraced that side of it? Do you feel like that's got to be a part of it? Yeah,
they've definitely embraced that part. I think the service thing, they're still kind of trying to figure out. It's because it's so new to them, and from just kind of talking to you, being the fast casual expert, hearing more about it and reading about it in all the mags, that it's a slowly emerging field, and I think that as we look into maybe doing more concepts or maybe even more of these, I think this it's a good way to go, because you are getting a little bit of everything. You get the food faster, you get everything just kind of comes to you in a world everyone's moving so quick and they don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours at dinner anymore. They can get high quality ingredients and very great experience in just a little bit of time.
Yeah. Now, when you look toward, evolving this concept maybe into multi-unit, I mean, do you feel like that's a future for Hi Lo?
So we set it up to be that way. We're hoping that it turns into something like that, and yeah, we're working towards that. And how fast we can do that, we're not sure, but we got to get this one going first.
Well, it seems like your model is scalable.
It is definitely
that's the
scalable.
first step in the right direction
Exactly.
with any concept that's building like this. So the next big thing that we get to talk about is the food.
Finally.
So let's go check it out. So Scott, we're now in, which is my favorite part of the show, and that's getting a chance to really see how concepts put together great menus. And you guys have done some things here that obviously is classic barbecue. But before we get started on this food, first of all, tell me a little bit about the Hi Lo thing. What is that? Where does that come from?
Yeah, Hi Lo is just a clever name that kind of talks about the high heat, low heat. So high heat on our big wood-fired grill, low heat on the smoker.
Gotcha.
We're a fuel-fired restaurant. Everything is natural. I mean, we have some burners and we have an oven to cook our potato rolls. Of course, you need that stuff to do a full kitchen, but the main heating units for to cook all the best stuff that we do is over wood.
Yeah.
And we use California oak for the smoker and for the grill. Mix in a tiny bit of hickory. Use a little mesquite charcoal on the grill a little bit, but it's mostly just oak and little fruit. Fruit trees will kind of come into play once we get close to the summer, and then we'll start cutting wood again. So.
Right. So what do we have in front of us? Let's start with the big daddy here.
Yeah. So we have this is sampler. We have spare ribs. We have brisket, pulled pork. It always comes with our pull-apart rolls. We have our pickles and Ryan likes to call it Texas Red Hot sauce. It's just awesome barbecue sauce made with smoked apples.
And you're telling me this is for two?
Onion. That's for two, yeah.
Wow. So that's a lot of barbecue there. And
it goes quick. It goes quick.
and of course, it comes with a couple of sides?
Yeah. You say this is probably our most popular way of doing things, especially when people are coming in for the first time and really getting to try everything that we do. It always comes with two sides. We have the baked beans with burnt ends and our grits with trumpet mushrooms and seasoned sea salt.
Yeah. And then, of course, you finish off the plate here with what is my favorite, the strip.
Yeah, New York strip. And we do this with a bone marrow compound butter to garnish it and some grilled onions, and this thing's just awesome. And this would speak to the high part, right? So we've really found that doing grilled beef over wood is really the best way to cook. It's the best way to cook a steak.
So when you get customers in going for barbecue, steak on the menu, these really indulgent sides, I mean, what are some of the favorite things that you find they're kind of going to on the menu? Is it still the barbecue wins?
I think it's still the barbecue. Chef Ryan has a nice little Asian slant to it, and his background, his previous experience in other restaurants, and kind of his palate speaks to some Asian flavors, and we have a little bit of Southern involved. As you can see, the Southern. We're trying to stay a little bit, away from that as like over the top. We didn't want to be just your regular old barbecue restaurant.
Gotcha.
So with the Northern California, we have this melding. You even see some Mexican, some involved in some other dishes. We're in Mission, so it just felt like barbecue really is about where you use what you have and where it comes from, and these are all things, they're as much local products and kind of the flavors that we're used to, and the guests are used to.
And of course, finishing off your meal are your beverage program, which we talked about a little bit before. What do we have here?
This is the Savory Collins. It's Beefeater gin with tarragon and pickled fennel and soda, and it's got a little bit of acidity from the vinegar, but it's not that over the top vinegary drink. It's just got it's really nicely balanced and kind of keeps you wanting more. And the Paloma, I think, is our second most popular drink to the buck. This is my favorite though. Everyone likes whiskey, but I'm a big whiskey fan, but this drink in particular is my favorite. Pueblo Viejo tequila, mezcal, grapefruit. a little bit of agave. It's awesome. It goes so well with food.
So you guys have really kind of elevated the whole concept of kind of casual food in a faster environment, bringing up quality to this level, obviously adding in the liquor component. This could be, you know, one of the next big trends we see coming down the pipe in terms of concepts like this. So congratulations on such a great look. So we can't hold back anymore. We got to try some of this
drooling
food.
right now.
Let's dig in.